Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. My name's Tracy. And as always, my husband is here in the background. Well, not here. I am still in Dallas. If you guys were at my Wednesday show, you would have seen Good Morning, Southern Charm. If you were at my Wednesday show, you would have seen me in the same background, same room, because I am in Dallas here on business. So I will hopefully be coming home tomorrow as long as I can get through any security lines and make it through the airport okay. So I will be home tomorrow and I get to see Southern Charm and her husband, Tim, tomorrow. So I'm super excited. My husband actually gets to meet them today, but I'll see him when I come home tomorrow. Anyways, this is our Friday morning business and tax talk show. I've got some notes we're going to go through. Today we're talking about time blocking, which is a really important subject for us. How is the peopling? Oh, the peopling is not working out for me very well. I am drained. So I am at a conference put on by a bunch of learning professionals. Those of you who aren't super familiar, thank you so much. I love discounts. Those of you who are not very familiar, I am a CPA, but I work at a global company on my 9 to 5, and I write training. So I'm in our learning department. So I am at a conference for learning professionals, even though I'm kind of a learning professional, kind of not. Anyways, so it is a whole conference put on by other learning professionals. So our days, like every session has like all the examples of great learning, right? Which means very interactive, very social. So all day long, I'm going from session to session, and it's a lot of table group discussions and role play and get up and talk to this person and get up and talk to that person. And so by the end of these sessions, by lunchtime, I'm like drained and I just need to go have some quiet. And by the end of the day, by 5:30 at night, I don't want to see another person. So I've kind of been hiding out in my room and not doing a lot of social stuff. I have to do a little bit more. There is an activity this afternoon I'm going to go do. But yes, not working out so well. I am not a people-y person. Um, I like this kind of interaction. This is more my speed right here. So anyways, let me get a giveaway going. Today our giveaways are CEO affirmation cards for the week as usual. And that is up and going. And let's see here. Did you guys know you can pop out your chat? So I have my notes. I have my computer screen right here in front of me. If you see me looking to the side, I'm reading my notes for this morning. And old news. This is old news. I had no clue. My husband's like, oh, that's old news. I just learned this morning that I can pop out the chat. So I'm kind of excited. Yeah, I had no clue. So let's see here. I might have to go back and forth. All right, there it is. All right. So we are going to go through our topics. Good morning, the polished picker. Hello, everybody else. If I have not said good morning yet, let's do some housekeeping. I have some basic news. Just as always, we open the show the first 3 minutes with housekeeping. If you are on YouTube, get off of YouTube and come on over to Whatnot. We have noticed more and more people coming in on YouTube. So thank you, first of all, for coming to our shows. But come on over to Whatnot, participate in our conversation. Old news to you. Good. What is it? So there's a little button when you start your show, even before, there's a little button and you just click it. It looks like a little box and it pops the chat out. So right now on my computer screen in front of me, I have my Word document with all of my notes and the chat sitting there. So I thought that was kind of neat. I just learned about it this morning. So that just shows how much my husband doesn't share with me. All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's see who is coming in. The Vintage Gypsy. Hello. It is pretty cool. I did not realize we can do that. What a CEO affirmation card. So a CEO affirmation card. I have a deck of cards. I've actually just taken them out of the bin. But I will have more. I have more coming. They should be here any day now. But it is a deck of cards, and you'll get one. The giveaway is for one card. And there are 52 CEO affirmations that I wrote, and I turned them into a deck of cards. So you get one of those. It feels and looks like a card. On one side has my logo. The other side has the affirmation for the week. I always close our show with the CEO affirmation of the week. So that is always going to be my giveaway for my chat shows. That and a vintage postcard you get along with it. Thank you for asking. All right, tomorrow, Glowy Glass Show. Those of you who like Glowy Glass, I already have my show up and running. So if you want to bookmark that, if you like Glowy Glass, we've got some really cool glass. Go check that out. I have pre-listed. So if you want to take a look and see what's there, you can do that. And the next, good morning, Kate. The next big announcement we have, I've already talked about this a bit, but the CEO challenge is coming. This is a challenge raid train combination, unlike anything that you guys have seen on Whatnot before. And we are kicking it off for April. Today is the day we're releasing the applications. So we're going to play you the video really quick so you can get a sneak peek on what the CEO challenge is. And then I'll talk about it just a little bit more. So my love, video, please.
Six sellers growing.
Maybe, maybe not. We're just going to sit here and just.
Building. Through weekly challenges. Building a business, not just a show. Welcome to the CEO Challenge.
And all right, so that's the CEO challenge. So this is going to be, like I said, a combination of a challenge and a raid train. Applications are available today. If you are interested in being one of the 6 people on the CEO challenge, you can go to Boomerang Echo, which is CG Boomerang's website. We're going to pull that up and show you. Let me really quick look at Jennifer's question. Just started my taxes and my books, 1099, 1090Ks. Well, good, great. I'm so happy they all match. That means you were an expert in keeping all of your records all year long. That's wonderful. I love it. All right, so let's take a look at CG's website. This is where you can get the application. While we are not co-conducting, I am conducting this train challenge on my own. CG is joining forces with me, and she is providing some help on the website side of it. So we're kind of joining forces in that regards. So I don't know if that's up or not. I cannot see the screen, honey. So have you put that up on the screen? It's up. Thank you. So once you're there, you go to the CEO challenge on the left-hand side, and then you'll see all about the CEO challenge, and you can download the application. It is a very simple application, but does answer a few questions. And we can only have 6 people. The way this works is the 6 people will compete in weekly challenges. Everything is really detailed out on the application. If you're just even remotely interested, go download it so you can at least read the information. Good morning, Cynthia. And so every week, the 6 people will work on a type of a business challenge, and then they come together for the showcase on Tuesday nights. The Tuesday nights are going to be like the raid train. Think of it like this. It's like a reality TV show on Tuesday nights. Like Real Housewives, but not Real Housewives, more like real sellers of Whatnot without any drama and a whole lot of business. That's what it's going to be about. The whole challenge is not against each other. It's against yourself to improve your business from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. So I'm super excited about that. Applications are due by the 26th. So if you are interested in being one of the 6 or know somebody that you're like, hey, they would really love this, please let them know so we can go ahead and in 2 weeks, we're going to be announcing who those 6 sellers are and kicking it off officially. I'm super excited about it because nobody else does anything like this on Whatnot. This is like a whole brand new thing. All right, real quick, another brand new thing. We're still in housekeeping. We'll get to the business topics pretty soon. Another housekeeping thing. Website again is, my husband will put it on the screen, www, do you have it? Yes. D. Lewis, I'm getting there. Just 1 second, please. Okay. If you are buying PDFs from the website, please make sure that you're putting your DMing us your email. That way we can get it to you right away. Let's see, D. Lewis. I'm not sure if this is new or old news, but I received the email of the Whatnot updated terms of service policy. Yes, so Whatnot changed their terms of service last week. We talked about that a lot on Wednesday. So they changed. There's a couple big changes in there. If you cancel orders as sellers, you're going to be penalized monetarily. And if what was the other big one? Oh, the GEMS are rolling out a GEMS program. So that's kind of the big ones again. As far as our PDFs go, that is a change that we have made. If you take a look in the bin, we have now just created every single one of our PDFs. We have 29 of them, and they are all in one bundle. So you can buy them individually for $5 if you like, or we also have just unlimited access to all the PDFs that we have created and will create. You can just buy one price, get access to everything. And the same for the books that we've written. So both of those are two brand new things in the bin if you are interested. And the website for the CEO applications, we're going to go back again. That is www.boomerangecho.com. And we'll get that thrown in the, I don't know if we can put a website in the chat. You can put it across the screen though, can't you? All right, thank you. Totally just lost my train of thought. Y'all see that? It just went, shoo, just gone. Okay, so what we were talking about is PDFs in the bin, completely, totally. I have notes here, but I was going somewhere. The books are also, you can buy all the books as one for the PDFs too, instead of buying them individually if you're interested in doing that. And all right, we're just going to move on. Whatever. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. For PDFs. I was in another seller show, and this happened lately. A lot of sellers that I really like have been making me think about things. But there was some information that came up that said that those of us who sell PDFs are breaking terms of service because we are requesting your email address to send them to you. And that is requesting private information or personal, like PPI, personal information that we're not supposed to request. That did concern me because I do sell PDFs. So I reached out to Whatnot. I actually got a human this time. It wasn't the bot. I got a human response. We had a very great conversation, and I have an email to show that it is totally okay to request a user's email address as long as it's disclosed in the listing ahead of time. Then that is okay. Tell me I love discounts. It took a lot of back and forth with the bot, and then it finally got to a human person. There was a ton of back and forth, but this was one that I wasn't going to let go. I needed a definitive answer because I've been hearing there's other people saying, hey, people who are doing this, it's against terms of service, and that hurts my business. Or sorry, not terms of community guidelines. It's against community guidelines. So that hurts my business when that type of information is out there. So it was really important for me to make sure that I got a definitive, honest to God answer from Whatnot, which I did. I have printed and saved the email for future reference, but I did want to put that out there. So let's keep moving on. Ledger to Leadership, y'all. If you're not coming to Ledger to Leadership, please think about it. I thought I was playing with fire. No, you're good. So Ledger to Leadership is on Monday nights. It is my accounting course that I am teaching here on Whatnot. It is totally free. There is a book if you're interested, not necessary to show up. Mondays at 6:30. It's also on YouTube. We are on week 3. This is a 12-week series, and we're building every single week, and we're teaching you how to do accounting. It's not college level. It is completely 100% focused on what you need to know for your books, for Whatnot, or your other reselling businesses. So it's just a lot of useful information, and it's only 1 hour. Dawn, I received my reseller link yesterday. You used it. I love it. That's so cool. You guys, I was going to hold off till a little bit later to talk about the live seller link, but since Dawn brought it up, we're going to tell you about it. So let's go ahead and let my husband play this video. Can you let me know, honey, when it's playing so that, all right.
Have you seen the new Live Seller link card? It is amazing. All your social media, your website, your selling platforms in one card. How convenient.
Share your seller profile, social media, and contact info, all with one tap.
All right, you guys. So that is the live seller link. It is a card. It is in our bin. I think it's the 4th item down on the bin. Thank you so much, the Polish Picker. And I love discounts. I'm glad you love yours too. So the cards are black or white. They're credit card size. They're plastic. So they kind of look and feel like a credit card. However, They are fully customizable. So we will just by default pull your Whatnot logo. But if that's not what you want, if you want a picture of your kid, a picture of your dog, a different logo, whatever it may be, you can send that to us, fully customizable, and it comes pre-programmed with your social media on there. Once basically the way it works, you can order it. Once you order it, you will get an email or a DM from my husband Noel, Zoe's Team Mod. It'll either come from his or my Zoe's Treasures box, and it will tell you that you're going to get another email from the website where it's set up, like the back end of it. You activate it. We've set up your social media. We send you the card, you change the password, and from there on out, you have total control on what is on that card. So it's totally customizable and updatable as you move in the future. If you change your phone number, add new socials, change your socials, so you can do all of that. You can also link to any URL. So the key to this is you don't have to just link to your Whatnot. If you have some really special item, you can link to that item with your card. And it works as a contact card. Somebody just taps their phone on it, and there you go. You get all the information. It's pretty cool. They have been selling like crazy. So we rolled them out a week ago, and it is a super easy process. Yeah, it is not hard at all. You don't have to be techie, but they have literally been flying off the shelves. So we're really excited about it. It's been a great venture for us to get into. All right. Today's topics. Let's move on to our topics. At any time, if you have questions, please feel free. I have the chat in front of me, but I do not see anything else that's going on the screen besides the chat. Thank you so much, Don. We thought it was pretty cool. We originally got it for ourselves to take to the Seller Summit, and then I'm like, this is really neat. We need to bring this to Whatnot. So that's how it came about.
I'm glad you like it, Don.
Okay. Today, our topic is time blocking under our business topic. And then our tax topic is going to be the home office deduction, which is, I don't want to say a highly missed deduction, because a lot of people know about it, but they misunderstand the home office deduction and how to fully take complete use of that tax deduction. So let's start off with time blocking. This is one of my favorite things. I have been doing time blocking since before I knew it was called time blocking. This is the way that I accomplish things in my life. I am very all over the place, and I have a million ideas in my head all at once. And I'm the type of person who wants to do a million ideas all at the same time. And this using a time blocking system keeps me going, keeps me organized, helps me accomplish what I need to accomplish without the burnout. Do you use time blocking too, Jennifer? I love it. Great. So any of you who are already using this, as I'm talking about it, I'm going to be talking about it through the eyes of Whatnot, with a few other, I always throw some analogies in there. But if you have any advice too, please put it in the chat, because the more opinions and the more thoughts, the better these conversations always are. So before we get kicked off, time blocking and home office deduction, I paired these two together purposely. And when I wanted to talk about them, because they both have something in common. And what that is structure. So I know a lot of us are like, oh, wow, we're free spirits, we're entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, structure is what separates a seller who is going to last and a seller who disappears. So that's why these two topics are together. And I'm going to be pointing out the structure throughout, because it's really important. It's the base of everything we do. Let's see here. Let me go over really quick. Before we start, I'm going to run another giveaway. And now we can go back to our chat and my notes. I love that I can pop these notes out, but I'm not loving that. Oh, hold on. I'm fumbling now. I had it at once, and now I'm fumbling with notes. Let's see here. We're going to get it. There we go. All right. So let's talk about the time blocking. First point, boundaries protect energy. You hear me talk about boundaries all the time. I cannot stress enough how important boundaries are. When you can be on Whatnot, I think we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago, and you're hustling and you're going day after day after day, and you're putting in all the time, because Whatnot's addicting. And once you start to make a little bit of money, you're like, oh, wow, this is really cool. This is really easy. I'm going to keep doing it. And it's all consuming. It can take over us very quickly, which then leads to burnout. And burnout doesn't just hurt you. Burnout isn't just, oh, I need to stay in bed a few days or I'm overwhelmed. Burnout hurts your business. When you get burnout, when burnout happens, you don't do as many shows, you don't perform as well on shows. And it directly, the whole thing that motivated you to begin with was like, wow, it's really easy to make money on here. It turns around to be like, now you can't make money because I'm too burned out because I did it too much. So, how do we prevent that? With boundaries. So, we have to have, let's see, the boundaries. All right, I can't do this. Okay. Sorry, you guys. This whole chat thing, I just was like, oh, I love this, but it's blocking my notes and I can't see what I'm talking about. So when you have your boundaries around your time, we could talk about boundaries around a bunch of different things. I talk about them around inventory. Today around time, we're going to talk about boundaries with people. But when you particularly have your boundaries around your time, instead of going through every single day and getting at the end of the day and you're just like, I'm exhausted, this is so much, I don't know if I can keep doing this, you end the day with a refreshed mind. You may be tired physically. I'm not saying that it takes away the physical, the hard work, but in your mind, really the boundaries around time is what frees you from that mental load, that cognitive overload that we all face, all the decision fatigue. So I want you to think about it really quick, like a car and your gas tank. If you're running shows and you're sourcing and you're packing and you're taking pictures and you're doing this and you're answering messages and you're doing all the things, you're burning fuel with no plan to refuel. When you go in your car somewhere, you know, hey, that gas gauge is getting to empty. I need to stop and refuel. This is what boundaries does for us. Boundaries are our gas gauge. They allow us to stop and refuel what our bodies and our minds need. So it's no different. If we can do it when we're driving our car, we need to have enough respect for ourselves to do it for ourselves. And this is where your boundaries are going to help you. So we have to take care of ourselves. We have to refuel for ourselves. And we're going to talk about how to do this, how to set up those boundaries for ourselves with time. And I want to make it really clear when I'm talking about this, this is not like I'm going to schedule you, I'm going to be super scheduled and you're going to have to like give up the way you do things. This is just a suggestion. Take it or leave it. You don't have to do time blocking. I do it. It works 100% for me. Different personalities need different things, but there may be just one little piece of this that you're like, okay, I like that little piece. Forget the rest. Money should not be a motivation. Set goals and boundaries. Yes, set goals and boundaries. The money's great. It shouldn't be the total motivation. So let's talk about real quick. I want to ask you guys, what part of your business is stealing your energy? What part of your business you're like, man, this is draining. This is stealing my energy. For me, for the longest time was show prep until I got my head around it. Admin, yeah. Bookkeeping could be another one. It could be like, I hate it. I don't want to do it. So I'm not seeing any answers, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. Shipping, always shipping. Yes, shipping is hard, isn't it? You know what? Shipping is the only time when I sometimes will question, do I like what I sell? Occasionally, when I have a really long shipping day, listing could be difficult. Loading shows, so loading shows, listing kind of goes together. Absolutely. So let's talk about how do we make this a little bit better? Yeah, right, Daisy, you feel the pain too. It's like, I love what I do until about 5 hours into shipping. And then I'm like, am I really doing the right thing? And then I get the shipping done and I'm like, yeah, this is good. I'm good now, right? But there's always a little moment of doubt in the hour 5 or 6 of the shipping time. So, all right. I want to divert just a tad bit because while we're talking about boundaries around time, loading, yeah, so we talked, so, oh, all right. Congratulations on winning that giveaway. Honey, I cannot see the who's win. Okay. So congratulations on winning that giveaway. Thank you for being here. And honey, if you could just tell me and announce when the winners come up, and if you can actually run the next giveaway, because I can't do that from here. Thank you very much. How does one find their tax information on Whatnot? LBS Thrift, very good question. They should have sent you a 1099. If they did not send you a 1099 or you weren't using Stripe, you wouldn't have got it, and that's okay. You will not find your tax information, but you can find an annual report in your Sellers Hub under the finance section. There's a little thing with reports, and you can go there and get an annual report. There's a drop down, pick annual, and look at the one for 2025. All right. So I know we're really focused on time blocking today, but I want to just talk about another boundary. This was brought up to me by another seller, and they're like, hey, can you just touch on this? So absolutely I can. When we're talking about boundaries, it also applies to all your friends on Whatnot. And I can't say this enough. Whatnot, where we confuse this, Whatnot is a social app. And I love that part of Whatnot. I'm getting used to it. I'm learning to embrace it. What that means is we make friends here, and we have people, even if we never meet them in person, that we consider our friends. We still have to have boundaries around that, because at the end of the day, this is your business. Unless you are solely on Whatnot just to have a good time, you're not selling, you're here just to socialize, then ignore me. This part doesn't apply to you. But for those of us running a business on Whatnot, we have to have boundaries around people on Whatnot also. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it is okay to say no to a raid train. It is okay to not have your friends as mods. It is okay to not do what your friends want you to do. It is okay not to raid into your friends and to raid into somebody else. It is okay to say no to your friends, because this is business, okay? Just we all need to quit getting butthurt and taking it personally when Sally Joe is on and I thought Sally Joe is my friend and she didn't raid into me. So what? Sally Joe is running her business and doing what's best for her business. She's going to rate into who she feels is best for her business at that moment. Does not have anything at all to do with the friendship. Doesn't have anything at all to do with how I feel about her or how she feels about me. Okay, so this is a huge thing, and there's so much drama going around Whatnot. Well, they didn't invite me to their raid train. So what? Go create your own raid train then if you're so butthurt over it, right? It's not good business to always raid it. Exactly, it's not. So we've got to quit buying into this game of getting hurt and separate the friendship from the business. So if you're one who's taking it personally because your friend didn't raid into you or you didn't get invited to that next big raid train that's going on, well, maybe it'll be the next one. It's just business. So I just can't stress it enough. We do this in our personal lives. We set boundaries around the people, places, things in our personal life. We have to do it for our business too. Our business is just as important, and we need to set those boundaries around the people and the time. And I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form is as a way to promote blocking people and doing all of that. I am talking about it in the way of relationships on Whatnot. And don't feel like you have to. Oh, Cynthia, exactly. Being in their room and tapping some hearts, talking in the chat, that's support. Sometimes I will go into people's rooms when I'm driving. I'm not shopping. I'm driving. I can't be watching. I'm there just to keep their numbers up. I'm there just to support them and to listen and to hear. So, and the same thing, a lot of other people do that. I'm not unique. I'm not, something special for that. But and don't feel like you always don't put yourself into debt. Like Cynthia said, you don't have to buy. Don't put yourself into debt just because they're a good friend. It's business, right? And I had to make that point because somebody asked me about it, and I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that because that's super important because we see it all the time. All right, so that's the first topic there. That or not the first topic, the first bullet point. Let's keep moving on, and we're going to kind of go back to our time blocking. So the next thing on time blocking, I'm gonna make some people mad with this one, but I'm gonna go with it. Scheduled selling improves consistency. You have heard this analogy before, and I'm gonna say it again because it is the best analogy out there. You know when your favorite TV show is on. You plan around that favorite TV show. You know what? People plan around you as a seller. This is why we preach anchor shows. Consistency improves, scheduled selling improves consistency. Knowing when you're going to be on improves your selling. For your buyers, know when they can come and find you. Just like you know when to tune in for your favorite show, your buyers know when to tune in for you. So when you schedule your live shows in advance, it's not just Whatnot makes it easy, right? We can go in there and we can put 10, 20 shows at one time. And you hear this all the time. Oh, if it doesn't work, just reschedule it. It's okay, just reschedule it. I'm going to tell you different. I'm not one of those sellers who's going to say that. I'm going to get on you that rescheduling is not a good thing. We have a regular Saturday show, but it's random during the week. Do you think the random? I do not, because you have an anchor show. Congratulations. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, my love. What was that? Daniel 73. He's telling me who wins because I do not see the screen. I don't have that screen up. So congratulations. Thank you for being here. You got that giveaway. And can you start another one on your side? Can you start the next giveaway? Thank you. Okay. So found with Love Vintage, because you have your anchor show, I do not feel having pop-ups during the week hurts you. If you have, the most important thing is to have at least one show, same day, same time, every week, that people know where to find you. That's the most important. Our weekly show has to be around our life. Exactly. And we're going to talk about, how do we figure this out? How do we find what, maybe not find what our time, day and time is, because there's some playing with that. But how do you make it so you're not constantly rescheduling it? That's what we're going to talk about, because this should be like an appointment that cannot be missed. This is important. When you schedule that show, you are scheduling a moment in your life that you are committing to be there. I go back to say this, I've said it 100,000 times. If my buyers, my supporters, the people who come in my show cannot rely on me to be there at a certain day and time like I said I would, how can I expect them to show up and buy from me? It is a two-way street. I've got to give in order to receive. Okay. And what I need to give is my time and my attention and my commitment. Okay. So two things happen when we block and we respect and maintain the times that our shows are. You show up more prepared, one, because you're not just, oh man, I got really busy today, I need to move it. And then two, oh, this has happened and I need to move my show. So you show up more prepared because you're ready for it. You know what's happening. You know, regardless, it's happening. And your buyers start to anticipate you. I started my anchor show Tuesday a.m. A favorite raid train hosts this trains I join on Tuesdays. Should I just do a show shorter those weeks? So if it's the weeks that the train is doing, and this happens to me sometimes, there's, in the CEO challenge, I'm doing those on Tuesday nights, but one Tuesday night we have a commitment for the big kahunas. If it's once a month, you talk about it. You're like, hey, I'm on every single Tuesday except when this raid train is, but you can catch me on the raid train. And then you're promoting the train. If it's built into a schedule, and what I'm really getting at are the shows that are scheduled and then rescheduled and then pushed another day and then they don't show up at all. As a buyer, if I'm going to take the time to bookmark your show because I want to see it, I want to go to your show, and then I'm like, oh, well, that was 3 o'clock on Tuesday. I remember I really wanted to see that. And around 3 o'clock comes, I'm not calling you out. I love discounts. 3 o'clock comes and the show got moved. And I'm like, oh, they moved it till tomorrow at 3. Okay. I offer a little bit of grace. I'm like, okay. And then the next day at 3, because I really wanted to see this really cool thing that they were talking they were going to have. The next day at 3 comes and they moved it again. I'm not going to stick around a lot. I'm going to be like, see ya, I'm sorry. I've already tried to be there twice and you can't show up.
I love discounts. You know that we have the show even if you don't show up.
So it is about commitment, not only to yourself and your business, but about commitment to your supporters and your buyers, right? I have the show every Friday at 7 a.m., regardless where I'm at, what I'm doing. I totally feel that there are exceptions. You are dying. You are in the hospital. There is a major life crisis. There are exceptions to this. It is not a hard and fast rule. However, people take the exceptions as the norm, and they should not be the norm. That's what I'm saying is people take, oh, my big toe hurts today, I can't do a show, or you know what, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep in. You know what, I'm tired at it. I'm in Dallas right now. This show's that started at 6 a.m. for me, which means I had to get out of bed at 5. I'm tired too. I'm still here. That's what you need to do. You still need to be there because of a hospital visit. And I understand. And I am not getting on people. There are legitimate life things. But I am going to say something. If most of you treated your 9 to 5, if you canceled and didn't show up on your 9 to 5 the way that you do your whatnot, your 9 to 5 would fire you flat out. So why do you do it on your whatnot show? Why do you not have enough respect for your own business to show up on time and be there? Just saying. You have to. This is vital to your business. You hear consistency. This is consistency. It's not glitz and glam all the time. It's hard work sometimes. And being there when you commit to it is part of the hard work. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I probably just made a lot of enemies with that. But I'm going to stick to it. I strongly feel this way. And I also feel this way about starting shows on time. Look, there are reasons, technical difficulties. I've started shows a few minutes late. I've had to push shows back. I get it. Again, Polish Picker, thank you so much for winning that giveaway. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. I still love you. I love discounts. And I did not write this about you. Um, so going back to it, I'm not going to, this is just one of those things I am going to completely stick to my guns on because I feel so strongly about. Again, there are exceptions. There are times when it's legit. There are times when you call into your 9 to 5 because your kid is throwing up and can't stop and you need to take care of your kid. That's fine. That's what you should be doing as a mom. There's times when you're sick or there's another type of emergency, or maybe your car broke down and you know what? Getting my car fixed is vital. And that's more important because if I don't have a car, I can't go to my 9 to 5 job and make my money. There are legitimate reasons why not to do a show or to do a show late, but those are the exceptions, not the rule. Do not make the exceptions the norm. Your norm should be showing up when it's scheduled and on time. So, honestly, if I have to keep changing it, I'll make it private and push it out and reschedule it when you can. Exactly. And part of the problem with this is Whatnot kind of penalizes us now. If there's pre-bids and we push a show out over 24 hours, we're penalized for it by losing all of our pre-bids. I don't disagree with that. I think from a buyer's perspective, that's a very smart move on Whatnot. But Whatnot also makes it easy. You could just go in and click a few buttons and you reschedule your shows. This is your business. You know what? You guys do it the way everybody does it, the way they feel is best for them to do it. But just think about it. At least take time to consider it. Y'all, that my coffee is at the door. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Welcome in, everybody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I know. At least she's not all fired up because she doesn't have her coffee today.
No, I got my coffee. I'm good. You guys are just going to have to see me make that my coffee really quick here.
I know, right? I love discounts. Where do I get my coffee?
It's
That's
called
just
room
not
service.
right.
This is the perk of travel.
And the worst part is that she ordered from Starbucks and was delivered.
This isn't Starbucks. This is just the hotel coffee.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Miss Kate.
Not Starbucks. All right. So we talked about being on time. Can I be bougie and have coffee delivered? You can. You just go book a room. I'm going to brag a little bit. I'm very excited because this does not happen to me every time, but I travel for business almost every single month, and I got a suite this time, so I'm super excited.
It's
Did
a
I win?
CEO affirmation card, I believe.
CEO affirmation card and a vintage postcard. Yep, I always put a vintage postcard in with them. So I never figured out if the chandeliers glowed, you guys. So I love discounts. Okay, so the conference is actually around the block. I couldn't get a room in the hotel where the conference is. So the conference is at the Adolphus, I think is how you pronounce it, in Dallas. Gorgeous, gorgeous old early 1900s hotel. And they have these beautiful glass chandeliers. I literally spent like 30 minutes, half of a whole session, zoned out, staring at these chandeliers, wondering if they glowed. Vintage has ruined me. Vintage has totally ruined me because this is all I can think about. I'm supposed to be there to learn, and I'm like focused on freaking chandeliers instead of learning. You can. Yes, we are always on YouTube. So my husband will throw that across the screen for you. Okay. We talked about being on time. I'm not going to keep harping on that. Sometimes I wonder if they fall. Yeah, these are pretty big. There is a fear of that, but not so much. But it was really pretty. And speaking of YouTube, not only are we on YouTube, everything, 99% of our shows are multicast to YouTube. Sometimes tech difficulties prevent it. But every Sunday night at 6:30 Sunday night, Reselling Roundtable. It is Zoe's Treasures, I Love Discounts, and Green 13. The three of us come together and we do a live podcast every Sunday night at 6:30. Y'all check it out. Not if you like, we all do talk shows individually. If you like any of us individually, the three of us come together, we debate topics, we have different viewpoints. It is a really good podcast, live YouTube show. You could ask questions in the chat, we answer them. So there was a restaurant in town that had an antler chandelier and it fell on a table. Oh, that would freak. Oh, yeah, that's a little scary right there. D. Lee, I hope you have a great day too. I totally get that feeling. I've got to be walking over to that conference in about an hour.
Reselling round tables on.
Okay, so he put the reselling roundtable up there for you. I am glad you like the podcast. We think it's pretty good and it's growing. We've been on for like 7 weeks now and it's growing by leaps and bounds. So very exciting stuff. Okay, let's move on to our next bullet point. Focus reduces overwhelm. So overwhelm is almost always a focus problem. It's not a workload problem. When you get to that, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, it's 9 times out of 10 not a problem of your workload. It's a problem of your focus, and you're not focused enough or on the right things, and you're spreading yourself too thin. So I was a waitress once at a Chinese restaurant, and we had one. It scared me to death. The owner got mad at me. Yeah, like seriously, like what could you do? Oh, okay. So when everything feels urgent, nothing gets done very well, right? So when you feel overwhelmed, it is a matter of focus. How do we focus? We time block. We know what we're doing, when we're supposed to be doing it, and that allows us to free our mind and have one thing to focus on and one thing to do at a time. Let me show you how this works. So instead of trying to do everything all day long, okay, tell me if you're with me. You wake up in the morning, your mind's spinning, you're like, I got to throw the laundry in, I got to start a load of laundry, I got to make sure the kid has whatever it is for lunch. Giveaway. Who got that giveaway? Refresh Franz. Congratulations. You got that giveaway. Thank you for being here. Okay. So you wake up, you're thinking, oh, I got to get the load of laundry in. My kid, I got to make sure they have the lunch. And oh, wait, for what not? I needed to ship this out and I got to do this. Oh, my 9 to 5. Don't forget that email. And your mind just blah, 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 right? Okay. If we can time block, we can remove that. It's hard. I know our minds are still going to go, but we can say, okay, let's just focus on one thing at a time. You can sit there in your head and say, I'm going to focus on one thing at a time. But how about allowing yourself the permission to, not only in your mind, but on your calendar? It makes a world of difference. So how this works is you assign specific tasks. And so let me show you. I'm going to show you how I do it and walk you through the way I do it so you can get a good idea. You feel like you have to, well, and that's just it. And when you multitask, when you do everything at the same time, nothing gets done very well. It's humanly impossible. Everybody's like, oh, I'm a pro at multitasking. Yes, maybe you're a pro at trying to make it work, but I can guarantee you that if you focused on one thing at a time, that one thing the outcome would be far better than the outcome of 10 things at one time. But we feel like we have to. So let's allow ourselves the freedom to not have to multitask. And that doesn't mean not doing the tasks. It means organizing the task. It means having a structure that you follow. So how do we do this? Honey, can you show that calendar that I asked you to let me know if it's up on the screen? It is. Okay, so this is what I use. Pretty simple. I get a pad of these off of Amazon for like $10 and you get a whole pad of it, okay? So what do? You start with your big tasks. There are actually steps to this. So you start with your non-negotiables. What are the absolute things that no matter what, they have to go on this calendar? For me, my 9 to 5 job blocks it out. So it's usually 9:30 to 5:30. 9:30, 5:30, block it out. I can't do anything between that time except for maybe something small on my lunch hour. That's blocked out. So I put that in there. And then you've got to think for you, what are your non-negotiables? The next one for me, my whatnot shows. This is where we come back to being able to stick to your schedule. When can you do your whatnot shows? Maybe it's kids sports. I have a daughter in cheer. Put in what are the non-negotiables. Put those blocks in there. Yeah, I tell people this all the time. Yeah, exactly. So Put all those blocks in there, okay? Those are the non-negotiables. Those are the things that can't move. You have to be honest with yourself. You need to sit down and figure out, is it really a non-negotiable? You may be like, well, I have to, get my nails done every Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Is that really a non-negotiable? Maybe to you it is. Maybe to somebody else it's not. But you have to be honest with yourself on what those things are. And I can honestly say your non-negotiable things, there's probably only 3 or 4 of them in your life. There's probably only 3 or 4 things that without a doubt you absolutely have to do no matter what. And you need to decide which those things are. Most of us, a 9 to 5 is kind of one of those things that fall in there. Then usually our kids' sports, particularly if your kids don't drive and you're the one who has to play chauffeur, right? Or picking a kid up from school. That's probably a non-negotiable. Taking them, picking them up, those types of things, okay? So you put those in. After that, go through and make a list of everything else that you want to get done in a week. Not just this week, but on a regular basis. What does that mean? If I'm doing whatnot shows, if I'm a pre-lister, I have to photograph, I have to list. If I'm doing a show, I have to have time to pack. Maybe social media is important to me. I need so many minutes a day for social media. Maybe I need to cook a home cooked meal every night. I've got to have time for cooking. We all live somewhere. Maybe we need sourcing. You got to have time for sourcing. Exactly. You got to have time for sourcing. You have to have time for cleaning your house, doing your laundry, right? So figure out what these things are. And you don't have to be super granular. You could just put, like on mine, I just do house cleaning. I have found for me that I'll block more time on the weekend, maybe an hour or so to do some deep cleaning. But on my lunch break, I do a 20-minute quick clean and I focus on a certain area every day. So I have my 9 to 5 is blocked out, and somewhere in the 12 to 1 o'clock hour, I will pencil in a 20-minute break of focus cleaning time. It's totally allowed. It's on my lunchtime, but it allows me to get my housework done and keep things nice and tidy without feeling completely stressed, right? So once you make your list of the other things, now you have your non-negotiable things that can't move, then you have your other things. You need to figure out what's a priority, because I can almost guarantee you your whole list of other things are going to be a lot longer than what you have time for. That because we're busy people, right? So what are the other what's the importance of those? If you have 10 other things that you normally would do in a week, number them 1 through 10. And T-Bubble, you got that giveaway. Thank you for being here. Can you you'll start another one. Thank you. I keep this in my head and it gets all jumbled. Exactly. This is where writing it down becomes important. I am a huge proponent of write out your business plan, write out your calendar. It makes it real. Writing it is almost like making a contract with yourself. It's almost making this agreement with yourself. Now, can you ignore it? Absolutely, you can ignore it. But it makes it a little more real when we write it down. Okay, so once you have your 10 things, 11, 12, 15, however many other things, figure out top to bottom what is the most important to the least important on that list. Then you start filling in the blocks of time. Remember, be realistic. If you wake up at 5 in the morning and you go to bed at 10, don't put a block of time making you work till midnight. If you know, I know my cutoff is around 9 at night. I'm not very productive after 9 at night. At 9 at night, I want to go take a shower and climb in bed and work on my computer for a little bit. So maybe 15 minutes of working on social media at 9:30 is okay for me, because I know that I have a routine where I fit that in. I work best at 2 a.m. There you go. I mean, if you know when you work best, this is the beauty of this, is you fit it around your schedule, you know, how you operate. But understanding yourself is highly important here. I get up around 5 or 6 in the morning. I go to bed around, like I said, I cut off around 9 at night. My stuff has to fit in with that time. That's it. So you start blocking it in. Is it going to look pretty full? It is. But what's going to happen? You get up in the morning, you have maybe a 20, 30-minute block of, I'm going to eat breakfast and do a daily meditation. Maybe that's your first 30 minutes of the day. Wonderful. You know what that does? When you get up and your mind starts going, oh, I need to send the email, I need to do the laundry, I need to do this, you can say, no, I have that scheduled for later on today. I'm good. Those tasks will get done. Right now is my meditation and my breakfast. This allows you to know, to get the ease and the comfort of saying, I know I have these other tasks, but I'm not going to worry about them at this moment. I'm going to focus on this one thing because I have allowed time for the other things. I have put in time for the other things. And then when the other things come, you focus on that and do that. Now, this sounds very rigid. It sounds very like, Tracy, I went into working for myself, so I didn't have to follow a schedule, right? Will this be on? Yes, it will be on YouTube. I have absolutely. Thank you for asking. It's on YouTube. Same name, Zoe's Treasures. And have a great day at work. Thank you for being here this morning. Um, yeah, email me about your deductions. Feel free. Email me if you have any questions. I'll be happy, or message me, DM me, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Okay, so we talked about how to make it work. And I know some of you are like, look, this is overkill. I am not scheduling out every minute of my day. This isn't about rigidity. This isn't about limiting your freedom. It's actually about giving you back your freedom. It's about, thank you so much. You have a great day too. I appreciate you being here. It's about creating freedom for you. It's about freeing your mind to focus on the task that's in front of you. And it doesn't mean that, you know what? Zoe's Treasures, same name as our whatnot, Zoe's Treasures. My husband will throw it across the screen too. So it's about when you have unplanned time. Oh, the podcast. Sorry. The podcast is Reselling Roundtable. And he'll throw that up there too for you. When you have unplanned time basically is chaos. Unplanned time is you're going to do this, that, the other thing, but usually not a whole lot gets done. Maybe something will get done, but is it always the most important thing that gets done? Because if you're anything like me, if I have unplanned time, if I'm not like, Tracy, this is your shipping time, I go back into my little shipping area and I see my inventory and I see a messy shelf and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to rearrange the shelf. And then I'll come back and start to pack a box, but then maybe I need to grab something. I'm like, oh man, those supplies are a mess. Let me clean that up. Before I know it, I've diverted and rabbit trailed so much in a 2-hour shipping time block that I didn't get my shipping done. Yes, I squirrel and squirrel and squirrel. But if I know, hey, you're here to do shipping, you've set aside time, you've realized the fact that you need to organize your inventory. Remember, you schedule time next week to organize that. Just deal with it until then. It allows me the freedom to do what I need to do when I need to do it. So okay, I'm sorry. Okay, are you putting the podcast up? Thank you. Okay, so the podcast is up there. It tells me 100%. Yes, I am like complete ADHD chaos. That 100%. I cannot stay on task to save my life. This is why time blocking has saved me. I use these methods. Let's see who's going to get giveaway. And it goes to Hurley Q. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. You got that giveaway. And we're going to run another one. I use time blocking in 3 areas of my life. I have not 3 separate calendars. I condense them into one. I've gotten to the point where I do this pretty well because I've been doing it for so many years. My professional life, my 9 to 5, I got a lot of responsibilities there. I have a corporate job with a lot of BS that needs to get done every single day. Now I have my 9 to 5. I have my personal life. I've got stuff I got to take care of, just like you guys in our personal life. And I have my whatnot life. And I need to figure out a way to bring them all together. This allows me to bring all of these 3 things together and get them all done and get them all done pretty darn well. Maybe not perfect, but pretty darn well. I can't. Decision fatigue is a real thing. Cognitive overload is a real thing. This is a way to reduce both of those things on you. This type of planning, time blocking, allows you to get out from underneath decision fatigue and cognitive overload. Now, what happens if you wake up on a Saturday morning and, because this happens to me quite frequently. It happens on Sundays. I'm going to tell you what, this happens more than I want to admit. I wake up on a Sunday morning. I know I'm supposed to be shipping that day. I've got time blocked out for shipping, some time blocked out just to chill with my family, right? But I wake up and say, I want to go to the antique store today. I've got that itch to shop. I want to go to the antique store. Then do it. It's okay to every now and then, because you know why I have that freedom? Because I can look at the schedule for the rest of the week and be like, okay, so I was supposed to ship. I had some free time tonight. I'm willing to give up my free time and make that into my shipping time. I can see it super easy and I'm not stressed about it. So then I go antiquing. I go to do my shopping and feel totally at ease because I can get my shipping done that night. It allows you to see it clearly where the gaps are, where you're busy, where you're not busy, and allows you to focus on one task at a time. This also works. I'm going to let you in on a little secret on how to kind of make this, tie this all together here. This also works in helping you to achieve your goals. This isn't about just not feeling the overwhelm, not feeling all that cognitive load. This helps you achieve your goals. When we talk about goals, what do we say they have to do? We make some big goal, right? But then you have to break it down into little steps. Do any of you enjoy, like, okay, look, for me, I want to publish a book in 2027. January of 2027, I'm going to have a book out there. But do you think I can wake up January 1st of 2027 and say, okay, I'm ready to publish my book and have a book right there and waiting for me to publish? No. In order to reach that goal, there's a lot of steps that go into that. I got to write the dang thing, right? I've got to decide what all's going in there. I've got to find either a publisher or figure out how to self-publish it. I've got to save the money if I'm doing self-publishing just to pay to self-publish this thing. There's a lot that goes into it. I got to design a cover. I've got to do, all these pieces, right? So I can't just wake up that day and say, oh, I'm going to achieve my goal. Goals have all these steps that lead up to it. In order to do that, you need to know what those steps are, right? Time blocking then allows me, once I can identify those steps, to fit them into my weekly schedule. I've been working on my book that I'm releasing for the last 8 weeks. And every week I work a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more to reach that goal. I'm going to kind of give you there's an Aesop's fable that really goes along with this. But it's not just that goal. What if you want to run a marathon? Do you just wake up and go run a marathon? If you do, I'm super impressed. Super impressed. No, you train week after week after week. If you're time blocking, you can fit those pieces in there and you're slowly achieving these life goals that you have. All right. I have big plans for Zoe's Treasures. Well, I'm so glad, Holly. Thank you for being here. I have big plans for Zoe's Treasures. They're not going to happen overnight and they take a lot of work. And I can easily overwhelm myself and say, good morning, Libby. I work 9 to 5. There's no way I can do all these big plans for Zoe's Treasures. I can if I'm doing piece by piece. Okay. Let me just kind of give you this little, it's an Aesop's fable. I didn't make this up. So there's an Aesop's fable about a thirsty crow. Okay. Blackbird, the crow. A crow finds a pitcher and there's just a tad bit of water at the bottom of this pitcher sitting out in a field somewhere. Well, the bird sits on the edge of the pitcher, puts his head in, can't get his beak all the way down to the bottom of this pitcher. He's so thirsty. He needs that water. That water is his goal. That water is the thing he's trying to achieve, right? So what does that bird do? Yes, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. What does that bird do? He starts putting pebble by pebble by pebble into that pitcher. What does that do? That water line comes up and up and up and up until he can reach it and drink from it. Okay? This is like our lives. This is like our goals for our business. Our goal is down there in that water at the very bottom. We don't just reach it like that, but we put a piece by piece, pebble by pebble by pebble to get to that goal. Let's see who won this giveaway. True social worker, congratulations. You got that giveaway. Thanks for being here. All right. So this is how we end up getting to our goals. So what are those pebbles? Those pebbles are time blocks on your weekly calendar. I'm tying this back. Trust me, it all circles back eventually. Those pebbles are those time blocks that you put into your calendar and you work on them and you knock it off week after week. When I, go and research something for a book that I'm writing, do I just, I research self-publishing because I need to understand all the different things. That's maybe a 20-minute thing that I put onto my calendar in 1 week. Does that in itself accomplish my goal? Not at all. But you know what? I can check that off. I need to do that. It's done. Everything I do, every little time block, is insignificant as it may seem, every single week, gets me farther and farther, or closer and closer, pushes me towards my goals. Time blocking is not only there to reduce your cognitive overload, keep your day-to-day running smoother, but is there as the big picture to figure out and help you get to where you're going. Okay. You can't just say, oh, I have a goal. There are so many people that are like, yeah, someday I'm going to do that. Someday I'm going to lose weight. Someday I'm going to get in shape. Someday I'm going to have a successful business. Someday I'm going to, start going into makeup and beauty. I'm a clothing person now, but someday I want to do makeup and beauty. Okay. Someday never comes. Someday is when you make it happen. Okay. Someday is today, exactly. And you need to figure out what that is and time block it out. All right. Are any of you here, just out of curiosity, how many of you are plan my week in advance people, or I just kind of wing it every day? Where is your comfort level currently? It's like, I know you. You wing it. We got both. We got some winging it people, week in advance. Yes. Now, somewhere in the middle, I self admit I am a type A planner. I mean, heck, I could tell you every single thing we're going to talk about on these Friday shows through the end of the year. I have it planned out. And just, yeah, poof. I try my plans and poof. Stagnant. So I am probably a little over the top on this. I admit it. That's who I am, but it gets stuff done. On my 9 to 5, they call me the taskmaster because I am the one with the list. I'm the one with the spreadsheet, and I'm like, that's due on the 14th. I need you to give me a draft back on the 10th because we're not publishing on the 14th if I don't see it on the 10th. But it works if you can stick to it. And it just drives my husband nuts all the time. Like, he'll come to me. We've been talking about our jewelry business, and I'll go to him. I'm like, I need a plan. I need to know what we're doing with these shows. Here's my thoughts. Here's my ideas. I've thought it through. But we're business partners. I can't just fly off the handle and do what I want, right? So I go to him and he's like, we need to think about it. These are our conversations we have. He's like, we need to think about it. I'm like, okay, you've thought about it. Now what? What's the plan? Step one, what do we do next? And he's like, let's just think about it. Because there's different type of there's different type of people, right? But I'm the type of person, just sleep on it. You can only sleep on something for so long where it becomes inaction.
She's not gonna sleep.
I don't know how many of you guys have heard this, but in my professional life, we say silence is acceptance. That goes to silence, non-action is acceptance. So if you're okay with not doing anything, and so you just stay quiet, you just continue the non-action, you're going to get what you're going to get. I'm not a silence is acceptance person. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to plan. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to get it done because I only have so many years left in this world, and I'm going to make them matter. That's what my husband, his sister moved here and didn't have a place for her the day she was coming to nest. Oh my goodness. That would drive me insane. Okay. So let's go on. Next point here. Discipline supports sustainability. Obviously, everything we're talking about kind of comes back to that discipline. So again, the sellers I see that get burned out, it's because they have no discipline, no structure. They go hard for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they just kind of start to disappear. And they're like, what happened to Bob? Bob was awesome. Bob was killing it on whatnot. Well, Bob burned himself out. Bob didn't have a plan. He didn't create the structure. He wasn't disciplined enough. So, and discipline doesn't mean perfect. Discipline means structure. Discipline means systems. Okay. So it's not always rigid. Discipline means you have a recovery plan as much as you have a go plan. You have to have both. Yep, you can see it happening. So after a big show, what do you do to reset? These are things we should be thinking about in our week, right? I have a big show. That's why usually on Saturday nights is and the giveaway is the Bird Theory. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Usually on Saturday nights, you're hi, Bob. So as much as you can plan your shows, build in time also for your recovery. Saturday evenings, we do our big shows on Saturdays. After our show, my show goes from about 4 to 5:30, give or take. We go out to dinner. That's our recovery. This is our kind of like standard Saturday night thing, is going out to dinner. because that's a downtime. That's also blocked out. That's time I block out on my time blocking is family time, relax time, dinner, the dinner time coming down, the whole, you've got to have that built in for your time for yourself too. I choose Thursday so I can stress less about packing. Exactly. That's why you see so many whatnot shows Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, because they're not due until Mondays or Tuesdays. So after a heavy sourcing week, how do you protect your energy for the next show? CG Boomerang Echo.
Welcome in, Raiders. Glad you can join us on this business and tax discussion.
CG, thank you so much for the raid. Y'all, if you're coming over to CG, my name is Tracy. This is Zoe's Treasures. This is our weekly Friday business and tax talk show. This morning, we are talking about time blocking and how that is so beneficial for your business and your personal life. We are getting close to wrapping up that subject. And then we're going to be talking about our tax topic, which is the home office deduction. So hang out. We're doing giveaways of CEO affirmation cards. And thank you, CG, for bringing everybody over. Please feel free to throw in the chat when your next show is, what time, what you're selling. Y'all, I could just talk CG up all day though. CG is the queen of raid trains. She runs some of the most amazing raid trains. This is also the person, if you were here at the beginning when I announced the CEO challenge, all of that is housed on CG's website. She has been so gracious to partner with me and to promote that on her website. So raid trains, and she sells some amazing snacks. She also talks to Ghost on Monday nights, and every morning you can catch her in her bathrobe at 7 a.m. So there you go. But feel free to put anything else in there, CG, that I may have not covered. Thank you so much, Sassy Goat. Total squirrel moment here. It's a little outside my comfort zone. I usually wear like solids, dark colored solids are my go-to. So it's a little outside my comfort zone. You are working on a kitchen sink later today. All right. Everything but the kitchen sink. Okay, so we are talking about how discipline supports, thank you, sustainability. All right. Again, sellers that we see burn out are the sellers that go without a plan. They go, and then all of a sudden Bob's nowhere to be seen because he burned himself out. I go back to what I said at the very beginning. Overwhelm is not a busy problem. Overwhelm is a focus problem. Okay? Being burnt out is because you're not focusing on the right things in the right times when you need to be focused. You're focusing on everything all the time at the same time. So sustainability is the goal here. It's a sprint. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So we want to take our time in doing things. We want to make sure we are blocking out our sourcing time, our downtime, our show time, our packing time.
Found with Love Vintage, you would have a great time with CG and the Ghosts. It's pretty cool. I suggest you go check it out.
Let's see what Tina has to say. We've only done one raid train because I'm still working full time and only have time for one weekly anchor show. So taking our time to grow slow. Perfect. And there is nothing wrong with that. The problem comes in, and we see this happen to seller after seller on Whatnot. And you know what? I have been thank you so much, Kimmy D. I've been prone to this myself. So an anchor show is the show that you have once a week on the same day and time, every single week. Every seller should have an anchor show. This is a show that your buyers know no matter what, you're going to be there on that day and time. Doesn't mean you can't schedule other shows. Schedule other shows whenever you want to schedule them, but have one that you don't move and you don't cancel. For those of you who just coming in that missed my beginning, canceling shows, you're going to hear all these people on Whatnot tell you, oh, it's okay, just move your show. I'm going to tell you the cold hard truth. Don't move your show. Don't cancel your show. Make the commitment. Schedule it for a time you can be there and be there. Now, there are exceptions. Again, I'm not going to repeat the whole thing what I said before. There are legitimate exceptions. Illness, death, cars breaking down. There are legitimate exceptions. Do not make the exceptions your norm. Schedule your show when you can be there and be there on time. This is your business. One line sums that whole thought up. There are people on Whatnot that if they treated their 9-to-5 job the same way they treat their Whatnot shows, they would be fired from your 9-to-5 job. So why don't you treat your Whatnot shows the same way you give somebody else respect? Give that to your own business. There we go. Whatnot pushed me into 2 pop-ups after the first regular anchor show to meet their dang bonus. Yeah, so you learn that, having your show. I very rarely do pops, very rarely. I think I maybe have done 3 pop-ups in my whole, just over 2 years on Whatnot. Why? because they're not planned. I needed to be scheduled. I feel better with the schedule. I know when I need to be on. I can plan. I can list properly. I can get my items together properly. I'm more prepared and a better seller on a planned show than I am a pop-up. I'm not saying that pop-ups are not good. They may work for other people. You can even plan a pop-up, maybe not schedule it, but in your time blocking, when we're laying out our block for the week, you're going to say, you know what, I have this free block on Wednesday night. I think I may want to do a pop-up. I'm going to pencil that in here. And those are the shows that you can cancel if you don't feel well, because you don't even need to put them up. The whole idea of a pop-up is at their last minute. They're not a pre-planned show, right? So you still have to plan a pop-up. Exactly. So you can, in your head and on your time blocking paper, be like, okay, Wednesday, I think I'm going to do a pop-up. Then if it comes to Wednesday night, you're like, you know what? I am not up for it. I can't do this. It was never scheduled. It doesn't look bad on your business. You just don't do it. Okay. But if Saturday at 4 is your anchor show, you don't come to Saturday at 4 and say, I don't feel like it. You show up and you do it to the best of your ability. Okay. So slow and steady wins the race, but will move whenever. They also say pop up. I would be careful about moving shows too. I am not a proponent of moving shows. It shows inconsistency. Think about this in the real world. We feel that because we're on an app, we have this comfort of this telephone or this screen between us and the real world. We feel that we have more freedom in running a business because we're behind this false veil or this screen, right? What if your favorite store only opened when the owner felt like they wanted to open the store? How often would you continue to shop there? I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of time to be just showing up at a store and having it closed and can't go in and get my stuff. So now I got to go home and go back and go home and go back. It's the same concept. The psychological concept is the same to our buyers and viewers when we continue to move and move and move and move or cancel our shows. It's the same psychological feeling into our buyers.
Galaxy Girl.
Congratulations, Galaxy Girl. So slow and steady and consistent wins the race. It's a tried and true proven method that works. Slow, steady, and consistent. Bless Tracy. Looks like she's in another. I am in another hotel, Millicent. I'm in Dallas this week. So I get to go home tomorrow.
And she had coffee delivered. She's
I
special.
did. I had room service this morning. So I'm in Dallas this week. In 2 weeks, we'll be in Nashville. So you guys will get to travel around with me for a while. This month's a busy travel month for me. Okay. So slow and steady.
So with that, Millie, think about this. She's in Dallas and I am in Pennsylvania. How cool is that?
So yeah, we actually, what we do is my husband set up with this technology where we kind of FaceTime each other. So I have my phone on FaceTime where I see him in the studio and he starts the show, but then through the FaceTime, I get to talk to you. I don't know all the techie side of it. He just makes it work. Let's see. Thank you guys. I only say that because of the rescheduled time change I did make on it. Okay. Yeah. Your lighting and background works for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Whoever called us the wizard. Yes, he is the wizard behind the screen. Okay. Slow and steady. Be consistent. Show up to your shows. Don't be late. Don't keep moving them. Don't make your exceptions the norm. Your norm should be being there. Okay. Have that same respect for your business that you have for somebody else's business. So here's the other part of it. Discipline isn't just good for your mental health. Okay. We talk about the time blocking, reducing our cognitive overload, focusing on one thing at a time. It's also good just for your business. Okay. Not just good for you, but good for your business. And the better you are, you can't pour from an empty cup. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not watching how much mental load you have and how exhaustion you have and setting up systems in place for yourself to be able to do all of this stuff. Your business won't survive it. Okay. Your business won't survive it. How many of us, the business relies on us? Most of us, 9 out of 10 people on Whatnot. I made that statistic up. I'm pulling it out of thin air, but I bet you I'm pretty darn close, but I'm being honest. It's not a scientific calculation there. But about 9 out of 10 people on Whatnot our sole or husband and wife type teams. It relies on us. It does. I was in a video hotel this week and I had witness protection lighting. Should you schedule shows differently away from larger sellers like House of Coop, for example? Curated collector, no, not at all. Find what works for you. I actually think being up against a bigger seller could be an advantage because I'm going to tell you, for me, I have nothing against House of Coop, but I'm only going to go in there in small doses. There's too many people. The chat goes too fast. I can't read it, and I get outbid on everything. There is something to be said for shows that have lower amounts of people. Yeah, a lot of times the big seller shows, they get bid up so much. Wonderful for them. Hey, more power to them. That is amazing because they're there to make money, right? I think it gives smaller sellers an advantage to go up against a big person. Don't worry about them. And here, look at, let me go back to even a better answer. Here's even a better answer. Who in the heck cares who else is on? I'm competing against myself. I'm up for me, right? Do we have to be aware of competition and market research and all of that as a business? Absolutely, yes, we do. But who? I'm sorry, my husband's talking and totally disrupted my train of thought there. But I'm here for me. I'm going to focus on me. The more I'm on doing my thing on my regular schedule, the more people are going to come to me. If I'm on at the same time, and Dave, my anchor show is the same time as House of Coop's anchor show, you know what? My people are going to find me and they're going to choose me. And that's okay. And you know what? People may be in House of Coop and they may get tired of the big show and come on over to the small show. So building it up. All right, you guys, real quick, before we move on, that's wrapping up the business part. We're going to go on to the tax part. Before we do that, I do want to make an announcement for everybody who didn't hear at the very beginning. Our CEO, congratulations on whoever got that giveaway. I don't see it on my screen. Thank you so much. If somebody saw who won that, can you just throw congratulations and tag them so we can give them a little recognition? I would appreciate that. All right, CEO challenge. If you were new and didn't hear the announcement at the very beginning, we're going to make this announcement. Then we're going to move on and start talking about the home office deduction. I am running a challenge rate train. I'm sorry, love. What are you saying? You keep interrupting every time. Frank and Mel got that giveaway. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Okay. So if you missed the announcement on the CEO challenge, I'm running a challenge and a raid train that it's a mixture of those two things, completely different than anything on Whatnot. Let me show you what it is really quick.
Six sellers growing, learning, building through weekly challenges, building a business, not just the show. Welcome to the CEO Challenge.
All right, so that is the CEO challenge. It starts in the month of April. If you are one of the people that are interested in being one of the six people that are doing the challenge, you can get the application on CG Boomerang Echo's website. That is boomerangecho.com. My husband will throw that on the screen for you. So you can go there, get the application. It is due on the I wrote it down earlier, 24th or 26th. It says it on the application. Fill that out, send it over to me. We'll be making selections out of the six people. If you're like, hey, that is just cool, please tune in on Tuesday nights and watch it. It is part reality TV, part business. It's reality TV without the drama. It's a good side of reality TV. You're going to get to watch six people grow and change and progress their business in real life here. You're going to see a screen. We're going to talk about their triumphs and their challenges along the course of the month as they go through various business challenges. They're all challenges that focus on the foundational principles of business. So this isn't a challenge against each other. It's a challenge against yourself to be better than you were when you started the month. If you want to play along at home, we will have downloads on that same website, boomerangecho.com. There will be weekly downloads for people at home where you can do the challenges yourself, but you don't have to be one of the six. So that's coming. That's not up there yet, but it will be before we start. So that is all of that. Let's move on because I am getting close to time. I do have to go to my conference today. Home office deduction. So this is, we're going to shift gears here. Let's start talking about some tax stuff. And real quick, Stash Mine, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were here. This is a highly important topic to me, so I'm glad that you're getting something out of it. All right, home office deduction. This is where you could take space in your home and use it as a tax write-off or a tax deduction. This is one that is so important to talk about because a lot of people know about it, but I also, almost every tax show that I do, it's one of the questions that comes up. So it's one of those things that people have a lot of questions about, and it's where people leave money on the table. And if you leave money on the table when you're talking about taxes, that means you're overpaying your taxes. So let's talk about what is the home office deduction? What does it look like? How do you take it? First off, the IRS says two rules about your home office space. It has to be used regularly and exclusively for your business. So what does that look like? This means that if you have a bedroom and the whole bedroom you use for your whatnot business, guess what? You can use the square footage of that bedroom as your home office deduction. But it doesn't have to be a whole room. And this is where a lot of people get lost. They're like, oh, well, I don't have a whole room. I just have some bookcases set up on one side of my dining room. That's okay. That counts too. Can you take the dining room table that you occasionally will set your camera and your tripod on? No. But can you take the space that you use regularly and exclusively? 100% you can. So that's what we're looking for, is regular and exclusive use of a fraction of your home. I have a 3-bedroom set up as different studios. Oh, first of all, Out and About Vintage, I am totally jealous. And yes, that does count. This is my, if it's regularly and exclusively used for that. Now, if you have a bedroom and it has a bed in there because occasionally you have a guest that spends the night, this portion of that room that has the bed and that's the guest use is not, you can't count that. But the other portion of that bedroom that you use regularly and exclusively for whatnot, you can count that. You took the beds out, perfect. Then you are set. Easy to defend, easy to like justify the use of it. So regularly means you use it consistently for business, not occasionally. Okay. So if you have a home office that you really don't use, or you have, how about this one? Because let's talk about the most underutilized room in a house, at least in my house, the formal living room. I'm not sure why we have a formal living room, but we have one. We rarely use it. Do we occasionally do a show in there? I have in the past. Does that make it business? No, because it's not regularly and exclusively used. So you got to make sure that just because you use it once doesn't mean now it's a part of your home office, right? So you've got to be honest about it. This is a little gray. Well, there's some hard set rules, like everything with the IRS. There's always some gray that you need to kind of feel that out and think through it. What if you store your pictures hanging on the wall that you sell in your show? No, you can't really. While that may be exclusive, we are going to talk about storage areas, because storage areas have a little bit of a slightly different rule to them. But it's hard to figure out the square footage of where you hang the pictures on your wall, and you're also using that for personal use. I wouldn't, as a CPA, that's one of those gray areas. As a CPA, I fall on the conservative side, and I would say, no, not where the pictures are hanging. Let's look at what we could legitimately defend here. Another CPA might come to you and say, heck yeah, we're going to count it. It's that gray area. So you got to feel where you're comfortable and what can you document. And I always say it like this. Being audited, there's a very small chance you're going to get audited. But if you were, can you sit across the table from an IRS agent and look them in the eye and honestly, truthfully defend the use of whatever it is you're defending? If you can, then go for it. If you're like, no, then maybe don't do it. If you use a section consistently for X amount of time and then move to one room after another, can you state both? Yes, you can. You can, Tober. I would have to think about this. You would have to reduce the amount. It would be a little more math, because you would take that portion for, like, say you used half of a bedroom for a little while and that was 100 square feet. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to move over to this other bedroom instead. So you would have to get the square footage, and then you would have to reduce it. You couldn't take like the whole year of expense. You would have to reduce it down to, I used it for half the year, so I'm going to take half the expense for this 100 square feet and then half the expense for this, whatever the other square foot is. So you just have to do a little more math to figure it out. Now we're going to talk about the simplified version versus the actual version of this deduction. And the IRS is kind of giving people an out for that already, and I'll tell you about it. Let's see who got this giveaway. Tober, look at that. Tober, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Thanks for asking questions. Okay. Even small areas can qualify. So we're talking about, it doesn't have to be a whole room. It doesn't have to be a whole basement. It doesn't have to be a whole garage. So a dedicated shipping station in your garage, a photography corner in the part of a spare bedroom, in the part of your dining room, the corner can count. Or how about this? If you just have a desk, maybe you're a jewelry or a coin seller and you don't need a lot of space and you just really work off of a desk. That can still count. It doesn't have to be a full room and it doesn't have to be big in order to count. Small counts too. Does this apply to homeowners as well as the first time here? Yes. So we're talking if you own your home, if you rent a home, if you rent an apartment, rent a townhouse, your living space, whatever that looks like in your situation can count. Now, you have to be paying for that living space. Okay. You can't take a deduction on something you didn't pay for. If you live in your mom's house and you don't pay the mortgage or the rent, that's not your expense. You can't put that on your tax return. Okay. So think about that too. If, grandma, unfortunately, maybe has passed away and given you her house and there's no mortgage, there is real estate tax you probably still have to pay. So we could make an argument there, but we have to be legit. It has to be something that you're paying the actual mortgage or rent on, okay, or the expenses for use of that property. Property tax deductions. So you're already taking most of your tax deductions. Let's talk about, you can use your tax deduction. Again, we're going to go in just a second. I'm going to tell you two ways on taking this home office deduction. You can either do it by actual, I see you, actual or simplified. And we're going to talk about that. The property tax plays into that. So hang out just another minute. We're going to talk about that. Do we get a better tax deduction on 6,000-pound car or a regular car? The tax deduction is the same on your cars. So again, there's two different ways for a car. And it really doesn't matter unless it's a fleet of vehicles. That's an older rule about having to have your vehicle weigh a certain amount for it to be useful in your business. And it's like an outdated rule. Okay, so we talked about even small areas can qualify. So workspace supports professionalism. Let's just talk about this before we talk about the two ways to take this deduction on your tax return. I want to talk about how your workspace supports your professionalism, because everything we do should not be just for tax, right? Ultimately, a lot of things lead to tax, but we should never make a business decision based solely on the tax implications. Okay. There's a lot of other factors on why we make business decisions. So beyond the tax benefit, a dedicated workspace, whether it be a desk, a room, a half a room, whatever it is, helps with how you operate and your professionalism in your business. When you have a defined space, even if it's a smaller one, there is a mental shift when you go into that space. My biggest example is when I have a home office, I have a spare bedroom. That's my home office. I do my 9 to 5 from. I work from home for my 9 to 5 unless I'm traveling. When I walk into my home office, I am in Tracy CPA 9 to 5 mode. I'm in that job's brain set, that mode. Versus when I walk down to my basement and I walk into my studio, now I am Tracy reseller whatnot person, completely different mode. And it evokes, there is a psychological boundary that comes with that. So having some type of dedicated space beyond the tax benefit is good just as a business practice. It helps put you into that mode, right? Okay. The IRS is also, now let's tie it back to the IRS. From a tax standpoint, this also supports your tax deduction, because the IRS also looks at this. If they were to ever audit you, it's behavioral evidence. So it's because when I go here, I do this. That's behavioral evidence. It tells a story of what you do. From a mess of a house currently, a dedicated space, absolutely good for mental health. It puts you in the right frame of mind when you go to work. Life-changing, separating work from personal. Yes. And you can separate work from personal in your own home. You can do it. It is totally achievable, even in a small home. The first step in doing that is having a dedicated work area. Okay. Your home office deduction is not required, You don't have to take it. You can say, y'all, this is too much. I'd rather leave money on the table. I don't want to deal with it. You have every right to do that. It is nothing that is required. However, it is powerful if you are eligible for it, and a huge way to lower your taxable income. I'm going to go back to my favorite example is, hold on, let's see who's getting this giveaway. Then I'll give you my example. Millicent's got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Millicent. And thank you for all your support. Y'all, I just need a minute to recognize Millicent. Not only is she a huge supporter of us, I Love Discounts, the Reselling Roundtable, Elaine, who does jewelry. Millicent, if you want to put her whole name in there, because I don't know the whole handle right off the top of my head. I just know it's Elaine, who does all the awesome jewelry. And not just that, Millicent is such a huge supporter of so many people on Whatnot, whether as a mod or just putting things in the chat. Just, she's an awesome person, you guys, and I don't think I've ever publicly recognized how awesome she is. So I want to just take a second for that. Okay, so not required, but it's very powerful deduction. We start January 1st like this. We're even. Okay, this is your business, this is your tax, business income, tax income, right? Our goal through the year is to get our business income as high as we possibly can, right? But we don't want our tax income high because we don't want to pay the taxes. So we want our tax income as low as we can. So we have two different objectives with the same money every year as a business. Your home office deduction helps lower that taxable part. This is one of those things that is happening in the background that we don't necessarily see or feel on a day-to-day basis, but it lowers our taxable income. So it's a very powerful tool to use in tax planning. Let's see. Do we need an LLC to claim the home office? I'm only selling since December and since this month. You do not need an LLC. Let me tell you, as a single member LLC, there are no tax benefits available to you that you cannot take as a sole proprietor. An LLC is more about legalities than it is about taxes. I talk about LLCs quite frequently. I'll be back on tonight at 6:30, excuse me, and be more than happy to dive into more about LLCs. Okay, so not required, but totally helps you reduce your taxable income. So let's talk about the two different methods on how to do this. Let's see if I got, okay. If a home office 9 to 5 uses the same desk and room for the rest of the time, Whatnot, would you use measurements for the room but subtract the desk? Yes, I would. Absolutely. I would just take it. If I'm on my 9 to 5, if my primary use of that desk is my 9 to 5, but I sit there less for Whatnot, I would use it as my 9 to 5. And subtract it out of the rest that's Whatnot, 100%. And that's, again, Bird Theory, I'm glad you asked that question. This is one of the gray areas. Not everything, while Whatnot has these rules, they're not cut and dry because all of us have these unique situations that we need to apply to the rules. And that's where it becomes gray and messy. And we have to think through it in a logical manner. And for me, always convert to the most conservative viewpoint on that. I go conservative because it's safe. Other CPAs may be a little more risky in their assessment, and that's just the way taxes work. So two methods. Let me tell you about the two methods we have. We have the regular method for you to claim these expenses. The regular method allows you to claim all the actual expenses. So you take your house, let's just say you have a 1,500 square foot house, and you use 10% of that for your business. So that's 150 square feet, okay? If I get a W-2 and I have a workspace for deduction or just a Whatnot space, you cannot take that space on your Schedule C. So if I'm using my workspace for a W-2 job, either my employer's reimbursing me or I just lose that space. I don't get any write-off for that space for a W-2 job. So it's either reimbursed by an employer or you get nothing. How to dock my cash I pay at how to document your cash at estate sales. Keep a little log, keep a logbook, date, where you went, what you bought, just a brief description of what you bought, how much you spent. That's all you got to do. Or a spreadsheet works fine. Yep, spreadsheet's fine too. Okay. A lot of the questions you guys are asking, I'm always happy to answer. Please ask them. But I do have PDFs in the bin. We are starting something new. I do have a PDF library where you get access to everything I've ever created. Currently, there's 29 PDFs in there. More to come this year. So you'll have complete unlimited access to those for one price, or you can buy one PDF at a time on a variety of topics. There's a drop-down list in the listing. But I'm always still happy to answer questions here. Those just offer a little more in depth than what I'm giving you up front. Okay, so we said if you have a 1,500 square foot home, you've determined that you use 10% of that for 150 feet is your spot that you use for whatnot, so that's 10%. For the regular method, you could take all the expenses that would relate. The mortgage, interest is a little bit different, but your mortgage, your real estate tax, your utilities, if utilities relate to that, like electric, maybe heat, if you pay gas bills. So any expenses that would relate to that area, and then you can take 10% of all those expenses. That's the actual, okay? You can do that method. Or the IRS says, let's make this easy. We're going to offer you what's called a simplified method. The simplified method says, the IRS says, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give you $5 for every square foot up to 300 square feet. So if you have a space that's 350 square feet, you can only take 300 of that. So it's a maximum of a $1,500 deduction. But guess what? You don't have to do all the math. It's an instant automatic $1,500 deduction. Now, if you have, not 300, but you have 800 or 1,000 square feet, you may be better off taking the regular method and doing all the math and calculating it. The majority of people, it's easier to use the simplified method. It just works out to about the same. What I suggest is the first year, and this is important, do the calculations on both. If you're like, I'm unsure how to do the calculations, go to get a CPA or a tax advisor to help them work through those calculations. Figure out which one is better for your situation. Once you pick one, you have to stay with it. So that first year is really important. So if you pick simplified, you got to stay with simplified. If you pick the regular actual expense, you got to stay with that. One is going to offer you more, one's going to be easier. Most of the time, the actual is going to be close to that $1,500 anyways. I'm willing to leave $100, $200 on the table to make it easier. So I use the simplified method as a CPA for my own stuff just because it works good for me. But that, again, it depends on your unique situation. And that's where there was a question earlier about real estate taxes. That's where that would apply, is you would use your real estate taxes when you're calculating that actual regular method. Okay. Last bullet point on this, because I do have to get over to that conference today, is accuracy matters more than maximizing here. And this is my CPA hat here. Accuracy always wins over maximizing any deductions, okay? It is better to document appropriately, to go with what you can actually defend than try to stretch a deduction just to save a couple of bucks. It will always come back and bite you in the butt. Trust me, it does. It is better to be safe than sorry. Your accuracy, being able to defend what you have, being able to actually write down is far better. So when I say accuracy for the home office, what do I mean? Take a photo of your workspace. If by chance you were ever to be audited and you have a photo of that workspace and you're saying, oh, look, it's a 10 by 10 room, that's 100 square feet. And the IRS is like, well, really? Because your apartment's really small. I'm not sure if that's legit. And you take a picture of this 10 by 10 room and they see a rack of clothes, they see a desk, they see a whatnot setup. That a picture speaks more than 1,000 words, right? Is that a saying? I think it's a saying. So have a picture of your workspace. Document your square footage. Yes, your inventory too. It's good to take pictures of inventory every now and then, for God forbid something should happen and you need to file an insurance claim and you're not keeping good inventory records. One, you should have your inventory records, so you should always back up. But again, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Document your square footage. How did you figure out? This is particularly important if you have a room that's divided or you're using a corner of a room. Document how did you figure out that was 10% of your house? Where did you measure from? So keep good records on how did you come up with that percentage, right? Keep records of your expenses, which is normal. We always talk about that. If you were ever questioned for any reason on this, again, this isn't a red flag. Using the home office deduction, people would say, oh, the people get audited more because they use the home office deduction. And years ago, taxpayers were afraid to use it and they would avoid using it and leave money on the table. They shouldn't stress you out. They shouldn't stress you out. You're just reporting on what happened. And if you're honest, there's nothing ever to be stressed about it. Um, but people used to think that the home office deduction was this like red flag for audits. It's not. Now, if what is a red flag is when you're not honest about it or when you're stretching that deduction. Okay. If you have a 2,000 square foot house and your taxes every year, you're taking that actual regular expenses and you're claiming 1,800 square feet of a 2,000 square foot house as business. I mean, come on, that's going to raise anybody's eyebrows, right? They're going to be like, you only live in 200 square feet of your house. Only 200 square feet is personal use. You're using 1,800 square feet regularly and exclusively. So it's about being honest, right? That's what it's about. Only outrageous things are things that look very odd. Those outliers are ever going to raise a red flag. If you're doing it correctly, it's not going to raise a red flag. And that's really important because there's a lot of people who are like, oh no, I can't do this. So the IRS is never out to get you. The IRS, I know a lot of people think, oh, they're the bad guys. They're really not. You know what the IRS is? It's a bunch of people like you and me doing a job. That's all they are. But they do expect you to substantiate your deductions. Okay. You're taking money out of their pocket. They want you to substantiate those deductions. This is no different than when somebody wants to return something to you as a whatnot seller and you want a picture of what's happening. You want that person to return that. Somebody messages you and says, hey, Sally, thank you for sending that item, but it came to me broken. And you reply, I am so sorry that happened. Can you please send me a picture before you refund them the money, right? This is the same thing the IRS is doing. They're saying, hey, Sally, I see you took the home office deduction. Can you send me your documentation for that? So that we know that you're not just taking our money without any reason. It's the same concept. They're not out to get you. They're not scary big bad guys. They're a business doing a business. I'm using your whole house. Yes, but unfortunately, the whole house can't be deductible. And we have to make sure PICs aren't AI. Yes, that's a whole huge problem going around now. All right. So to close up the show, I do have to end a few minutes early. I need to be over at this conference in 20 minutes. It's about 3 blocks away. So you guys are amazing. You really are. I appreciate you guys so much. Do we have a giveaway running right now? How many minutes are left? Nope. Okay. So thank you guys for being here. I love having these conversations, even when we're talking about boring and hard stuff. I do apologize if I got anybody upset or got under any skin when I talked about canceling shows. I'm going to stick to my guns, though. I do have my viewpoints. And you know what? It's okay for anybody to disagree with me. And I totally encourage that for you guys to think through things. So remember, when you're time blocking, when you're thinking through your schedules for the week, it's not about restriction. It's about freedom and protection for your own mental health and your own well-being and protection for your business. So let's close with the CEO affirmation. I like to close with that. And that is, I separate personal and business decisions. Clear boundaries strengthen legitimacy. So that is our CEO affirmation of the week. I appreciate y'all. We're going to go find somebody to raid. I don't know who it is since my husband has the controls. He gets to pick today. So this could be anybody. It is on YouTube. You can always see this, Mary, on YouTube. Thank you for asking. All right, let's go see who we go to. Who are we going to? All right, we're going to go see TBC Productions. Bye, everybody.